Hey guys, so now we are going to go ahead and get started with our next unit, but before we go ahead and get started with it, I want to give you guys a heads up on what this next really big section is what we're going to be talking about. So as you know, the last really big section that we talked about was genetics. So we talked about cells, then we talked about protists, then we talked about genetics. So now we're going to move into our next really, really big section, which is all about anatomy and physiology. So all about the human body, okay? And we're going to be talking about really a couple of really major body systems in the human body. We're going to be talking about the circulatory system. We're going to be talking about the respiratory system, the digestive system, excretory system, reproductive system. Yes, I did just say the reproductive system. Okay, so we are going to be talking about that as well. But to start off with, we're going to split this up into several different units. The first unit for the human body is going to be Unit 7. So coming after Unit 6, which was all about genetics, now we're heading into the human body. So we're going to start with Unit 7 today. Unit 7 is all about body organization, homeostasis, and the circulatory system. There's only going to be 2 sets of notes for this unit. Well, maybe more than a couple. But we are going to start off with a big chunk of that today, which is all about body organization and homeostasis. So how the human body is organized, and then homeostasis, which is how it keeps its internal balance and how you stay healthy. Okay, so let's move right along. Now, the levels of organization for the human body are really easy. They're not bad at all. There's 5 levels of how the human body is organized. So first thing is at the bottom, if you're following my cursor, first thing at the bottom is you have cells, okay? Now, if you put a bunch of cells together, and they perform a similar function together, then you step up onto this next level of organization, which is the tissue, okay? And then if you put a bunch of these tissues together, and these tissues are performing a common function, then the next step up is going to be organs. Okay? And then, like I said before, if you put a bunch of these organs together, and these organs are performing a similar function, then you're going to go up onto this next level, which is the organ systems. And then if you put a bunch of these organ systems together, you're going to come up with this next level, which is the main level, which is the organism. So if you put these 4 levels together below this, so the cells, the tissues, the organs, and the organ systems, if you put those 4 levels together, then you get your organism. Okay? So from this, you get cells. A bunch of cells working together is a tissue. A bunch of tissues working together is an organ. A bunch of organs working together is an organ system. And then a bunch of these organ systems working together to keep you healthy forms an organism. And that could be plants, that could be animals, any of those things. Okay, so that's just really quick the main levels of organization. What we're going to begin to talk about now is really what each of these things mean, and then how they're organized from there. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get started with cells. Okay, all right, cells, as you guys know before, these are the basic unit of life that makes up all living things. Okay, this is the basic level. So if we go down to the very basic level of who we are all made up of cells. Okay, we know that. Basic unit of life that makes up all living things. Okay, there's nothing new there. And then if you put a bunch of these cells together, you get tissues. Okay, and these tissues, it's a group of similar cells working together to perform a similar function. So if you put, down here on this bottom level, if you put these cells together, then you have tissues. These tissues are a bunch of similar cells working together to perform a similar function. So like respiratory system cells. If you put a bunch of those respiratory system cells together, it might make up your lungs, okay, or your esophagus or something like that, okay? And then down here we have 4 types of tissue. We've got nerve tissue, we've got muscle tissue, epithelial, and connective. Nerve tissue. If you pinch yourself, it hurts, okay? That's because your nerve tissue is sending a message, okay, to your brain that tells you that if you pinch yourself, it hurts, right? So your nerve tissue is a messaging system, okay? And an example of this would be a neuron. And neurons are those things inside your brain that send messages in between one another to help you remember things, to help you get the messages to the rest of your body, all of those different types of deals. All right, muscle tissue is your next one. So as you're sitting here writing this note down, okay, your hand is moving. All right, it's moving because in your hand you have muscle tissue. Okay, muscle tissue is responsible for movement. So it's things like your biceps and your triceps. Have you ever seen like those guys on like Facebook who take selfies in the mirror and they're like flexing and stuff like that, and you're like, ooh, that's so gross, and they've got their arms all up like they're so cool, okay? Yeah, they're flexing their biceps and their triceps, okay? Those are muscles that are responsible for movement. That's muscle tissue, okay? All right? Epithelial tissue, okay? Now, if you look at yourself, you're covered in either really nice tan-looking skin or really pasty skin, okay? Your skin, whether it be tan or pasty, is a form of epithelial tissue, okay? It protects you, right? I mean, enough said. If you get a bunch of water thrown on you, your water doesn't go straight through your skin. No, it sits on top of your skin unless you rub it in, right? Okay, your skin protects you. All right. Next one is your connective tissue. So your connective tissue holds your body together and it supports it. So this can be like bones, okay, or ligaments. So if you were to look up here at this picture, okay, this is a picture of the skeletal system. All of these bones, okay, is a type of connective tissue. They are a type of connective tissue. They hold the body together and they support it. All right. Next, now if you put a bunch of these tissues together, you get organs. All right. Now an organ is a structure made up of two or more types of tissues, okay, that work together to carry out a similar function. Are you noticing a pattern here that if you put all of these things together, it makes up the next thing in the pyramid? Okay, so the organ is a structure that is made up of two or more types of tissues that work together to carry out a similar function. For example, the heart. Okay, you've got a bunch of these different types of tissues here. You've got muscle tissue, you've got nerve tissue, okay, all of these types of things. You put those all together and you get the heart. All right, how about the lungs? All right, once again, you've got muscle tissue, you've got nerve tissue, all of this right here, you've got cartilage. That's a type of connective tissue, okay? So you put those tissues together and that forms your lungs. And then if we move over here, this is your liver, okay? So we've got nerve tissue, lots of nerve tissue. We've got muscle tissue. If you put all of those together, that forms your liver. So from cells all the way at the bottom, you put a bunch of cells together, you get tissues. You put a bunch of tissues together to perform a common function, and you get organs. So now let's see. If we put a bunch of organs together, what are we going to get? Oh, we're going to get organ systems. Okay. A organ system is a group of organs that work together to perform a similar function. You're like your respiratory system, okay? Your respiratory system is made up of your lungs, your trachea, your larynx, your throat, your nose, all of those things. You put all those things together and it helps you breathe, okay? All of those organs and tissues, put those together and it helps you breathe, all right? This is your respiratory system. Down here, we have your digestive system. All right, you've got your large intestine, small intestine, the stomach, okay, the liver, the esophagus, all right? And then finally, you've got your mouth up here. You put all of these organs together, and it makes an organ system. Respiratory system, digestive system. You've even got your cardiovascular system, which is made up of like your heart. Okay, all of those different types of things. You put all that together and it makes up an organ system, and they perform a similar function, whether it be like the respiratory system to help you breathe, or whether it be like the digestive system, which is to digest your food and make sure you're healthy. All right, now if you put a bunch of these organ systems together, it makes up you and me. It makes up an organism. Okay, so an organism is a group of organ systems that work together to perform common functions. Okay, you put all of these organ systems together, and they work together to perform common functions. And that common function is to keep you and me healthy, okay? So for example, like plants, okay, or humans, okay, or animals, like the little puppy dogs right here, okay? All of those types of things are organisms. It's a group of organ systems that work together to keep you and me healthy, all right? They're performing that common function, and that common function is to keep you and me healthy. But now, I mean, we're not always healthy, right? But our body has to make sure that we remain healthy. And our body makes sure that we remain healthy by keeping a stable internal balance. If we don't have a stable internal balance, that's when things happen like the flu or the stomach bug or your muscles start to hurt or things like that. You know that something's not right, okay? And how we keep a stable internal balance is through something called homeostasis. All right, now, homeostasis is a condition where the organism maintains a stable internal environment, no matter what's going on the outside. There can be bombs going off on the outside, but your body is stable on the inside, okay? You can be swimming in a swimming pool around everybody around you, okay? But your body on the inside is stable, okay? This is needed for you to remain healthy and for your body to function properly, all right? For example, if you go for a really, really long run, right, your muscles start to hurt and you get really, really hot, okay? The inside of your body is saying, oh no, it's not good, this isn't stable. So what does your body do? It sweats, okay? It sweats to cool you down when it gets too hot. So if you go running on a really hot day, like obviously like this man has done, then your body says, oh no, it's not stable. Oh geez, okay? And then you start to sweat, okay? That cools you down. That gets your muscles cool. It gets more oxygen into your lungs. So that way, your muscles don't hurt and you start to cool down. And the body's like, oh, that feels so great. It's nice and stable again, okay? Another example. When your body runs a fever to kill pathogens that are making you sick. So all these pathogens, like I know, cold and flu season, if you've ever had the stomach bug, ooh, it's so nasty. Okay, your body is saying, I don't feel so well. This is gross, okay? I don't like this. I'm not stable anymore. I'm not happy. I'm not healthy. Okay, so the body runs a fever to kill all that nasty bacteria that's giving you the stomach bug or that's giving you whatever sickness you have, okay? So those are just two examples of what homeostasis is. So when you think about homeostasis, you need to think about stable internal environment. Okay, this is a condition where the organism maintains a very stable, nice internal environment. Okay? Well, that's it for our notes for today. And I mean, it only took like 13 minutes. I mean, that's kind of awesome. Okay, I think that's a new record. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to work on filling in a table all about the levels of organization. Okay, so I gave it to you at the beginning of class. It should not be that hard to find. You're going to cut out the items and then place those in the proper places in the table. So each place in the table should have the vocab term, whether it be cell, tissue, organ system, or organism. They should all have a picture, okay? And then they should all have a description of what it is, all right? And then that table, once you have it put together, is going to be pasted in your notebook, all right? Now, I'm going to let you get started on that. Good luck, and I will catch you on the flip side.